Hello, my beautiful men and women of God. Okay, so I came on here to give you guys a profound message. I just want you guys to know to keep it on, and that those doors that are shut, allow them to shut and keep moving. Sometimes we want to also force a door open that is probably not meant for us. Allow God to direct your path. Pray about it. Stay in the Word. Stay encouraged. Stay moving. You know, um, there have been several things along my journey. For those of you who know me, know about my journey, and there are several things that God has directed in my life or placed me in a certain person's life in order to help them through what they are going through. Perfect example when I actually, those of you who know me know that I do daycare. Daycare as well as foster care. And in doing foster care, I do teen parents, okay? And but a lot of those teen parents come literally like they're might be sex slaves. And I was dealing with one that was actually came from that background where she was actually a sex slave, and it was very difficult for her to get away from her said master or whatever you want to call him. It was very difficult. She went through several things. I won't mention her name or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not supposed to do anything like that, mention the name or anything. But in that time frame, he kidnapped her child, and it was very difficult. It was like within the same couple of weeks that she had the child, and at the time, she was feeding the child. So while she was feeding the child, breastfeeding, obviously the baby needed their mother. And so he took her to another city. Okay. And we tried to get the police involved. This was a well known um, pimp, okay, in the area that is just, well, not in this area, but he was a well known pimp in that specific city. He had several run ins with the law. There was no reason, rhyme or reason, that he needed to have that child. It was really just a technique of control. But anyway, so when we had to drive like 2 hours away to go to try to retrieve the child, and talking to the police officers, it didn't sound promising. It did not sound promising at all. And I kept telling her along the way, I kept telling her, listen, they don't know my God. They do not know my God. We're going to get in this car and we're going to go get that baby. And she just kept saying, Miss Shauna, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just not, they're not saying anything good. We get there and same song, same dance. The police officers kept saying, well, no, we can't go because that is legally his child as well. And I'm over here like, this is a well-known pimp. He is well-known in this police station. And you guys are trying to tell me that you cannot pull this child away from him? No, because legally we have to take it to court and this, that, and the third. I said, okay, well, not only that, it was set up in court that the child was to reside in my home. Okay. We had all of this going for us, but yet and still the law would not back us. But my God, nobody, they didn't understand. They didn't understand that I was leaving with that child. Okay. And I kept telling her, you don't know my God. Just watch my God work. And she just kept saying no. She was really discouraged. And so I just kept telling her, I just kept smiling at her. I said, oh, just be patient. Just be patient. Watch them retrieve the child. She said, I don't think so, Shauna. It wasn't looking promising at all. And the police officers were telling us, no, the only thing we can do is a wellness check. And the mom was getting really discouraged, and she just kept saying, no, Miss Shauna, I think we should just go home. I don't think this is going to be, I don't think we're going to be able to do this. I said her name, and I said, listen, hon, you don't know my God. Okay. I know my God, and I know my God is going to go up in that house and retrieve that baby for us. I said, so what we're going to do is we're going to sit in the car. We're going to give them the car seat, and we're going to sit here and wait for that child, because that child will be retrieved. And so they had about 4 police officers at this specific location, trying to get the baby, because they called us. They called us. We were sitting in the car. We were waiting We were waiting. They were telling us, no, 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 we're not going to be able to get the baby. We're not going to be able to get the baby. When lo and behold, they give us a call. They told us, sit tight, wait for us. We're just going to go do a wellness check. They were just simply going to go do a wellness check. That's it. And I just kept telling that girl, I said, no, no, no. They're about to go get the baby. That's what they're going to do, because God is going to release that child to us. No, Miss Shauna, no, Miss Shauna. I said, okay, just sit tight, watch my God work. So we're sitting there, and you know, she went to, the police officer went to do, quote unquote, a wellness check. When she got to the place, the pimp, the father, was nowhere to be found. So in the court of law, the two relatives had to retrieve the child, had to give the child up, right? So they called us and told us the good news, and I just turned to her and I said, I told you God was going to retrieve this child. And so she's like, oh my goodness, are you serious? Are you serious? And I said, yes, hon, you don't know my God. So anyway, so the police officers were like, just come around the corner and just come get the baby. And we're like, okay. And so as we got closer, we realized that there was a huge standoff. There were about like 4 or 5 police vehicles there and everything. They were literally trying to pull this child away from the relatives. The relatives were not relinquishing this child. Okay. So eventually they had to. They had no other choice. We relinquished the child. She ended up getting the child back, and the child at the time was residing with me and her. You know, but I just wanted to come on here and tell you about faith, because a lot of people, they talk about faith, they say they have faith, but do you really have faith? And faith is expecting God to do the unexpected. Expecting God when you don't see that something is going to happen, knowing that that is going to happen, that you have faith, that God is giving you faith. God said that you have to have faith. And so when you have faith, that is what happens. God moves. God is able to move. God is able to intervene. So I'm on here to really give you guys a word of encouragement to really have faith. Keep on pressing, keep on pushing, because faith without works is what? Is dead, right? So we want to keep on pressing. We want to keep working towards that goal, that end goal that is really meant, is God fully rightfully ours, is God fully rightfully ours. And what I mean by that is what God has for us, not what we want for ourselves, because sometimes we might want something and it not be the best. It might not be the best. But in that instance, God wanted to show her a lesson about faith, because God is real. The things that she had went through, all of the trauma that she had been facing, all of the letdowns in life she had been facing. She didn't realize that God was real. And a lot of our conversations, she didn't realize that God was real. But at that time, I told her to sit back, have faith. God is going to show up and he's going to show out, because you don't know my God. We are going to leave with this child. And we did. And so a lot of times all God wants you to do is just show up. He'll do the rest. Just show up. That's all you got to do, is just show up. And I feel like somebody is on here that needs to know this. All you have to do is just show up. Go through the action of showing up and having faith and knowing that God will handle the rest. Stay shining. Much love. Stay blessed. Bye.